Hello, Galaxy. I'm Chris Pirillo, and I'm not wearing any pants. It's a no pants podcast because it's Monday, and we're all at home, or at least we should be. You should be working from home. You should be playing from home. You should be enjoying home. I hope you can hear me and that I sound slightly better than I might have last week. We tried this on Friday. We're trying it again today. It's a tool that allows me to broadcast not a video feed, but an audio feed and take calls live. They call it Chris Pirillo's fan line. I like to call it. That's actually not what I like to call it. I just happen to crack into a good old-fashioned Imperial Stout. No, if you dial 510-662-6932, you'd be put into a queue of sorts. Not the Q continuum from Star Trek, but a queue, a line. 510 Moan Web. That's what it spells. Moan Web. 510 Moan Web. You can even text that number right now, 510-662-6932, and it will enable you to get updates by way of text when I do these audio broadcast call-in shows live. The Chris Pirillo Show, right? As it was formerly known. I don't really have too many updates apart from saying that I started and finished Ozark Season 3 over the weekend. It's a show I enjoy. I mean, I'll put it to you this way. If I watch the show, like all the way through and continue to watch future seasons, I really enjoy the show. And it doesn't happen all that often, even with shows that I've enjoyed. Like I've yet to catch up on, oh man, now I'm spacing on the name of the show. It's on Netflix, the MCU. Not Daredevil. I've seen all of Daredevil. The show with her. It's her name. Her name is the name of the show. Gosh. And I enjoyed the show. I just didn't watch season 2. I can't even remember the title of the show. Okay. Well, hopefully you can hear me loud and clear and there's no stumbles. Either way. I'm trying it on a different device, hoping that the audio won't be as weird as it kind of got last time. I started to sound robotic a portion through the broadcast. I've pretty much caught up on every one of the shows that I wanted to watch or binge. I've been trying to avoid news at all costs. Otherwise, I become a victim of what they call doom scrolling. Jessica Jones, thank you. My God, sunshine. You are a ray of sunshine tonight. Jessica Jones, that was it. Yeah, I knew it was something simple. I knew it was the girl's name. That's her name. I haven't watched season 2. I enjoyed season 1. Didn't watch season 2. But I've watched all 3 seasons of Ozark. What does that tell you? I don't know. I can tell you one other thing. I'm off my allergy meds. That's not the reason I decided to do this without pants. I am not wearing pants. No, actually, I am wearing pants. I can't prove it. One way or another. This is not. You don't imagine me either way. Just focus on the sound of my voice. I've been on allergy meds because I have been draining like you wouldn't believe, and then that drainage gets caught up in my throat, and then I start coughing, and with everything that's going on, the last thing I need is to be coughing anywhere, and so my doctor prescribed me something that I shoot up my nose, and another thing that I swallow. Neither one really helped, and then I ended up getting side effects. I'm like, I'm done. So today I quit cold turkey. I don't think there's a problem in doing that. The meds, if one of them ran out, I'm like, all right, I'm going to stop, because what I don't need is an antihistamine. That's never worked for me. Never. Going all the way back to when I had allergy shots. That was a nightmarish time of my life. Still didn't get me over the fear of needles. But I need a decongestant. And the problem with me taking a decongestant is that it does things to my prostate. I know that's probably, another one of those TMI things. But it's true. Decongestants do something funky to my prostate. So the thing that I need, I can't take. And I can tell you, I'm feeling why. because years ago I got somewhat addicted to the decongestants. I took it regularly. I took it well beyond the time that I should have taken it, and I think my body basically built up a tolerance. Like, no, that's it. So one area of my body loses mucus, and another area of my body swells, and it's not a fun time to be Chris Pirillo when he has allergies. I was addicted to Afrin too, that nasal spray in college, and the reason why is because I can smell. I can breathe through my nose. I miss it so much, so much. It's a thing. You can get addicted to this stuff, all because you want to breathe. So, not having taken it today, I don't feel congested. I don't feel like I've been coughing. I don't feel like I've been draining that much. I can tell you my nose is sore from having to blow it so much. Oh, and trust me, if you stick around long enough, you will hear me blow it. Not my nose, but just anything in general. Let's go ahead and try to take a call, see how well this works. I am using a device directly such that I'm not using a headset. I tried doing that, and when I was testing, the audio was blown out. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to go with the speaker. So we're going to see. This is Chris. I think.
Huh?
I don't know who that is. Yes.
Oh, I made it on.
You did. It's not that hard. It's really not that difficult. Oh, well, that was very short-lived. I didn't think it would be that scary. Did I scare you? Fine, I'll put on my pants. It rang. You rang? Or not? I should do it like Lurch. You rang. No, you got to mute your speaker, not your microphone. I think that's the trick. It's like Radio 101. You don't listen to the actual speaker because it's going to be delayed. There you are. I'm hearing feedback. You're still listening to the speaker. Listen to the sound of my voice. Come towards the light. Or not.
Am I on air?
Yeah, you are.
Oh, wow. Hello.
Hey. You've never called into a radio show before, have you?
No, I have not.
Hey, man, I'm happy to be the first.
Thank you. This is actually my first time watching your channel.
Oh, my. Well, that's one hell of a way to jump in.
So, how are you doing in all this virus stuff?
I'm well. Family's well. I think we actually had it. We generally take care of things. And I tend to be a clean person. Not that we, have never been more active with keeping things clean, but I generally try to keep things clean. The worst thing that I got around me is dust right now. But the thing is, we kind of stick to ourselves. We don't interact with other people apart from online. Like this. It's safe.
So since you're self-quarantined, what kind of movies have you been watching?
So I've been binging everything I possibly can. No real movies though. I started what was it? Attack the Block last night, and I'm not sure if it's for me. It was a part of I think Flix is the name of the package right now, and there's a whole bunch of movies on it. So I started to watch that, didn't really get into it. Then I started to watch Dave, which is a series on FXX. And man, that is definitely for adults. But I had a couple of LOL moments. I am waiting. The next movie I'm probably going to watch all the way through is going to be Onward when it releases on Disney Plus. Because otherwise, I'm mostly caught up. Largely. Do you have any specific recommendations?
Yeah, well, there's a show on Netflix called Longmire. It's a pretty good show. It's about a sheriff. I believe it was in
Longmire?
filmed in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Yeah, Longmire.
All right. See, usually I have to take my advice from my wife, and I'm tired of it. Don't tell her that, because she's been telling me to watch all these different shows, and like I don't have interest in them. Oh, this seems to be rated pretty well. A man in psychic repair but buries his pain behind his brave face. That's like me. Not really. All right, I'll take a look. I'll give it a shot.
And then there's any Tom Cruise movies that are good.
I haven't seen any lately. Honestly, I lost count with all the Mission Impossibles. Last time I saw a Mission Impossible like trailer, I'm like, they're already up to that many? But apparently.
I know there has been a lot.
And I'm not sure how I feel on Top Gun 2. I enjoyed Top Gun, but I'm not sure about 2. But I don't really go and watch movies. I'm not a typical movie watcher, I don't think.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's a good recommendation. Why do you like Longmire?
I think it's. I'm not a big fan of drama shows or crime shows, so I like Robert Taylor. He's the main protagonist. He's from. He was originally in the Matrix. I never really watched the Matrix, but I know he's from there. And then, but he is the cop from, not the cop. He was in the Meg with Jason Statham. So then I started watching that show after I watched the Meg.
See, I don't have any particular genre that I stick to or like necessarily avoid, apart from horror. Horror, gore, I'm generally not. I will never watch. So I'm always willing to try anything that isn't. Very good.
Well, I have to go, but
Okay.
thank you for letting me be on air.
Yeah. Hey, absolutely. Happy to do it. Never know what we're going to talk about. I love it.
Yep.
And now I have a recommendation. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. All right.
Diana and Jedi just got back. They took a tour of Seattle. Food trucks, while doing the social distancing thing, have been like looking for people to get their food. Otherwise, it's just going to go bad. And so that's what they did today. And I can hear Jedi. So whoever's jumping on next, be prepared. You may get, awkward silence on this end. As opposed to awkward talking, which is, par for the course on this end. Oh no! Man, I keep pressing the wrong button. Here we go. Hello, this is Chris.
Hello?
Hi.
How are you?
I'm alive.
How's the coronavirus treating you? I've been laid off for 3 weeks.
Oh my gosh. That I got to tell you, that probably has me worried more than anything. Like, what happens when we get out of this? How are we going to get through it? Apart from
like
all
I'm just thinking from like an economical standpoint.
Right.
Because like even the owner of the business that I work for is struggling so much because her insurance doesn't cover any of the shutdown.
Oof. So
she's just like hemorrhaging money.
Yeah, that's. I had a conversation with. There's a local shop owner. It's like a secondhand shop, and they take in usually items like for kids. So I'll go in there looking for Star Wars toys, of course, and so I knew her and she knows me. And I stopped in the other day. She had posted something on Facebook that Diana told me about. She said, "Oh, check it out. They want people to know that at that time they were still open for business." And
right.
and I went in, we kind of had a similar kind of conversation, and she was even questioning, like, she's like, I am not in the position to pay rent. And I'm like, oh man, I as a small business owner, I totally understand kind of living on that edge, but can only imagine. So was it
totally,
are
like,
you furloughed?
because like I'm a server.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a server, so, and I still haven't received any unemployment from the government yet. So I've had zero income for the past 3 weeks.
Are you kidding? So man.
Not at all. It's been awful. Yeah, it's been awful. But I just wanted to hop on here and say hi and hope that you're doing well.
Well,
I'll let you go and take other callers.
Well, hang on. Like, you can't segue from that. You can't do that to me.
I don't want to take up all of your time.
My heart is like being squeezed here. Gosh. All right. Well, keep me posted. Like, I'm genuinely interested in what's going on with the community with all this stuff. I mean,
yeah, I'm in Ohio, so like Northeast Ohio.
Well, at least I think that governor's handling this as well as could be expected in the state.
Yeah, Mike DeWine, he's been all right, you know.
Right.
He pretty much just follows whatever the mayor of New York does. You know, because like after the mayor of New York City like puts an action into place, like then, hours later, DeWine puts the same action into place because you know we're only probably 8 hours from New York. So it travels fast.
Yeah. No, yeah. I caught something today suggesting that it's going to hit rural communities later and harder, like because it's rural. They're rural, like the further out you get from the bigger cities, you know. But it trickles down. I mean, everything is connected. Everything is connected. You forget, you know, the internet and connectivity for a second. I mean, just like everything is connected.
Yeah, it blows my mind because, like, for me at least, I like being outdoors, and lately I feel wrong being outside.
Really?
Know? And it's like how yeah, like how does like it's weird that all the stigma and everything that's been, you know, the news, the media, the panic, everything has made people feel, you know, like it's uncomfortable. It's like, oh, am I doing something bad if I go outside? You know?
See, I feel bad when it's not. Yeah, no, I feel just the opposite. I feel bad if I was outside before all this happened. Because we never go outside.
Really?
We don't. We don't. Hang on.
Have you seen the?
Go ahead.
Have you seen the new season of Rick and Morty? Segueing to like a happier topic.
So I think it's on pause. Like I made it. I've watched all the episodes to bring me current, and that's it. Like so, I am. I think I'm caught up unless I accidentally missed a couple of episodes.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it to restart. I'm super excited.
I'm hoping to get some Szechuan sauce from McDonald's. I'm still upset.
I know that I heard they're coming back with it. They don't have it in our state, but I heard they're coming back with it.
Oh, really? Yeah, no, they had Rick and Morty Pringles. I finally found it, but we're vegan, so they put milk in it, so we couldn't get it. I'm like, oh, so that kind of pained me a bit.
Aww.
Hey, you've got Diana and Jedi just sauntered into the room.
Hi.
I'm not sure how to introduce you.
Oh, I'm Lexi. Hi.
Lexi.
Hi, Lexi. Hi.
Hi.
Where are you calling from?
Ohio.
Oh, cool.
Ohio.
Not Idaho, not Iowa. Ohio. Ohio.
Oh. There's a song about it.
What's your opinions on The Mandalorian?
Yeah, Jedi, what do you think about The Mandalorian?
Baby Yoda.
There you go. And
Baby Yoda.
Someone, this is a kind of a SURPRISE, is getting a ELANKET of BABYYODA.
Aww.
Okay. Doesn't know. Right now, Jed's picking out some candy. It's the only reason she hangs out with me.
Yeah, I actually got a Baby Yoda hoodie for Christmas.
Ooh.
And I was super psyched about it. I was like, no freaking way. Because it was in December, so they didn't really have like a lot of Baby Yoda merch.
Hang on, sorry. I was drinking a beer and trying to swallow. What color? I have to ask, what color was it? And the reason why I'm asking that is because the only merch that I've found right now that I think Jedi might like is like kind of a gray, dark, just not designed very well.
Yeah, mine is black, and then it has like Baby Yoda's full stature on it.
Ooh, see, and
it's
I'd
like
like
screen
that.
printed pretty much. Yeah, it's pretty dope. Like I was actually today.
Has anybody seen it and known exactly what it was?
Oh, for sure. Yesterday I walked into a gas station, Circle K. I don't know if you have them out there, but I walked into Circle K and this old dude, like I'm talking like 59, 60, and he was like, "Hey, that's Baby Yoda, right?"
Dude,
and
I'm
like,
telling you. I told Diana, I said, right now there's nothing out there. I mean, there's a few things, but it's going to well, at one time I would have said this. I don't know about now with all the isolation and quarantining. It's going to explode. Like there's nothing, and then suddenly there's going to be everything.
Yeah.
Here's the funny thing. Lucasfilm's got to be going nuts because they tried to get The Rise of Skywalker, going, and they marketed it. But I'm like, no. I could tell you, even before The Rise of Skywalker hit theaters, that The Mandalorian was going to be a hit specifically because of the child. Specifically.
Mhm.
Like, zero doubt in my mind. And,
well, yeah, like, after like 2 or 3 episodes of The Mandalorian, there was already, like, Baby Yoda compilations on YouTube and everything.
I don't know if Jedi, do you want to
And
see the Baby
I'm not
Yoda
lying, I watched those because they're cute. Oh, yeah.
Can you sing it, honey? You want to do a singing debut? No, you don't really have to sing it, Jedi. No, it's audio. It's audio only. Do you know the Baby Yoda song? How does it go? She's gonna grow up with a really weird childhood. Like I sang to people I never quite met over the internet. Oh, you're nervous when you sing? No one can see you right now. No one's looking. You want to try it? Which one do you know? Which Baby Yoda song do you know? Oh, you're gonna make one up? Okay, go for it. Oh, okay, she didn't make it up yet. Sorry. Not gonna happen right now, I guess.
It's okay.
Maybe soon, she says.
Maybe.
But thanks for calling.
No problem. It was nice talking to you.
For sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, you too.
Bye.
Take care and be safe.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
Taking calls, you just never know where people are calling in from.
That's cool.
You know what I'm saying?
We were listening to you. And
you were listening to me in the call?
Hello?
No, it's me. I'm talking. I'm talking to mommy.
You told me about your prostate.
Yes, I did. So you tuned in for the prostate. Okay, I don't know if this is for you. If this is for you, then Daddy's gonna want to get another one for backup.
Do you want it, baby?
It's a cloud pillow, the Darth Vader cloud pillow that I showed on the show and tell this weekend on the video, and this is the one that I wanted as a backup. So
because every night he'll play tug of war.
I'm afraid the other one's gonna fall apart. I'm gonna have to get another backup to the backup. I don't want to. Diana, I don't want to lose my Darth Vader cloud pillow.
A backup to the backup.
It is a backup to the backup. Hey, didn't you guys bring food?
Yeah, I was going to ask you.
Yes.
hungry.
Yes.
You left the burrito there. You didn't eat it.
You didn't tell me that was my burrito.
Oh, sorry. Aw. The one time I don't say don't eat it, you don't eat it.
Well, as opposed to an ice cream in the fridge.
Yeah. Did you eat it?
You got ice cream?
No.
Okay, well then what do you mean how did I know you got ice cream? Keep it moving, Diana. We're on a live audio call.
Baby, they're going to think you're mean to me.
I'm not mean to you.
Did you eat the ice cream?
I had at least...
that answers it.
Can I finish?
That's all you have to say.
The ice cream. I had like enough scoops out of it that I'm...
Are you sure?
I don't try... Okay. I'm trying to ration things.
No, I know, but I'm saying if Jenna... I won't eat anymore because I want her to have it because she's having fun with it.
Really? She's still got that bowl that's separate from...
That's what she's
okay.
She's going to eat it.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
What's she doing?
I'll get her food.
Okay.
She likes the ice cream.
Yeah. As soon as I said ice cream.
No.
Why do you think I spelled it out to Lexi? Like, I was like trying to spell everything. Hopefully everyone out there can spell. I'm keeping Gareth up, apparently. Oops.
Oh.
I've got a couple calls to get to.
Oh, cool.
Go get the food. You can join me.
All right. We'll get the food.
That way, if I've got like a mouthful of food,
I can answer.
exactly.
For you.
Yeah.
We
No.
finish each other's
Sandwiches. Oh man, I keep pressing the wrong button. God bless America. This is Chris.
Chris, hi. It's Robert. How are you?
Hey, Robert. Doing well.
Hey. One question. By the way, happy quarantine. For everybody.
Well, it's more like self-isolation.
For everybody.
We're not sick.
I meant just general like quarantine for those of us who have like actual like your city calls and like you're on lockdown.
Totally.
Because we actually just had that happen. Like I think it was on Friday.
Ooh.
Or no, Thursday. It was on Thursday. Yeah, city called and they're literally going to be sending the police around to make sure that you're not like out when you're not supposed to be.
No, that just happened today in the state of Washington, as a matter of fact.
Oh damn. Yeah, no, Florida here, Tampa Bay. But yeah, no, Pinellas County, just like I think it was like on Thursday, literally sent me a text and then followed up like no joke 5 minutes later with one of those automated phone calls.
Wow.
Requiring you to acknowledge that you got like geez.
Wait. So are you the Florida man? Like we always hear about in the news, Florida man.
Florida man, I hate Florida man. That's the one downside of living here is literally no. A couple years ago, I heard on the news that some joker up in my hometown of Jacksonville actually got arrested by police because he was selling supposed golden tickets to heaven, and they confiscated like $10,000 in cash, drug paraphernalia, and get this, a baby freaking alligator.
Whoa! He should have been on Tiger King.
Like,
there were
right?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Oh yeah, no. Well, my one question to you is I am the new I have a new collection of laser discs. Like I have like 5 of them.
Wow.
A friend of mine, those are antiques. I got I have most of the required watching: Batman '89, Back to the Future, Stargate, have Wizard of Oz, the 50th anniversary, and a and a movie from when I was a kid, Unforgiven. Anyway, so what would you recommend that I look for? Like, what movies have you from like that era would you recommend that I kind of keep an eye out for?
So, first of all, I would tell you, don't walk toward any of the Star Wars films. I'm talking about from the original trilogy, and the reason why.
Oh yeah, I those are.
Yeah, no, keep going. Those are on your radar.
They're on my radar, but they're from. I'm assuming they're kind of in the unobtainium class because, yeah, they're kind of. If I can pick them up, hell yes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're just that's just kind of wishful thinking.
You know, I got to tell you. Well, first of all, I was blessed that I had a friend at one time who had the laser discs and burned that video to DVD. So I actually, that I know of, have a copy of basically the original films pre-special edition.
Oh, you are so lucky.
Yeah. Although that said, these days with the internet, I'm sure if something should happen, I could probably find my way back to one thing or another.
No, and the players themselves are kind of expensive as well.
Yeah.
Like, because considering, remember the original DVD players, how like bulky those are?
Oh yeah.
They used to be like what, 5 or 10 pounds for a single player. That, like, although I will say that those were mostly because the electronics were a lot heavier back then. But yeah, no.
So,
I have been.
And no, I was gonna say my recommendation, because I don't have any specific movie necessarily. I mean, if you have nostalgia, of course I'd chase that. Star Wars, yes.
Well, yeah.
You know, I saw one time, and I don't look for it, all the time, because I found the disc that I was looking for effectively, not laser disc, but do you thrift?
Yeah, I do.
So my strong recommendation is keep thrifting, because I have.
I actually, for everybody, I'm actually I actually subscribe to the channel LGR, and I kind of got into thrifting because he has this long-running thrift series. Whenever he can, he will just kind of thrift his local Goodwills and all of that.
That's
for tech finds.
Well, tech, really? Well, I guess.
Yeah.
I have thrifted tech before, but not to use, right?
Yeah.
More for nostalgia.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, nostalgia, like, just like, oh, hey, I have this 386 I found. I just want to kind of boot it up just because.
Right.
And then you spend like maybe, an hour on it and you're like, okay, I'm good.
Next. Yeah. That's, every so often
yeah.
you find, I mean, most everyone thrifts differently, and everybody's thrift store. Boy, I'm having a problem with that.
Okay.
Stores are different.
Yeah, I heard you're having some real fun times with the pollen season that's coming up here.
My gosh! Oh no, that's hit me hard. So thrifting, honestly, just you may start mapping out, in your area, where the bigger thrift stores are. Why am I having a
Right.
problem with that? Thrift stores are
Thrift.
this, this is amazing beer. I have to say that right now. So
Awesome. What is it? I literally just
what's that?
kind of tuned in, so
Oh yeah,
I
no
literally
worries.
just tuned in.
Awesome.
Yeah. What you drinking?
Oh, this is an old Rasputin Russian Imperial Stout.
Oh, nice.
It is a gem of a brew. So
oh boy,
when sometimes when I thrift, I'll go into that area, but geez and cracker. Okay, fine. Don't tell me. Oh, right. Yeah, you're not here. Got it. What? Don't tell Jedi this. What? She can't hear. What? I don't understand your. You need to improve your charades, dude. Oh, okay. Got it. Yeah, got it. Yes. Rice is white rice.
How's it going?
Yeah.
How's it going?
Diana sucks at charades.
Oh, this should be Eat with Chris.
It's about to be. Thank gosh I'm not on camera. Thank gosh. There's no gosh. Thank God I'm not on camera. The only thing I can think of, apart from Star Wars and apart from thrifting, is just chasing the movies.
And things like Indiana Jones. That's
right,
also kind of another. Yeah, the classics are a must. But things like Star Wars or Indiana Jones are going to be those 1 in a million hits because they're so old and they're so beloved by so many people, where it's like the stores are going to be picked clean as of 10 years ago of that kind of stuff.
You'd be surprised. I've been shocked.
Yeah, no, you'd be surprised.
I would be. Sorry, I had a mouthful of
rice. It's fine. But yeah, no, just kind of going off on a little side note here. I've been a fan of yours since the early days.
How early?
Literally just after ZD became Tech TV.
Okay. That's early.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was in high school then.
I think most of us were.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. But yeah, no, you actually kind of touching on that, you know what is, as a former Tech TV watcher, may they rest in peace, after the travesty that is G4 happened, everybody just kind of dropped the network because it just kind of went downhill quick.
It changed, and the one thing that I can tell you about being there when I was, there were a lot of people who really cared about what we were doing. But
yeah,
I mean, in terms of the content, that's what mattered.
Yeah, you could tell everybody's heart was in doing what you all were doing.
I feel that.
And then it just kind of walked off a cliff.
Well, I can't speak to that because I wasn't involved, but I very often after Call for Help had wrapped for the day, as I was setting the stage with other producers for the next day's show, I would of course tune into the Screensavers, which was also live, and very often would be listening.
Oh yeah,
I probably pissed Leo off more than a few times because they'd be talking about something. I'm like, ooh, they need to use this, and then I rush in, show the executive producer, like, this is it. This is what they need. Like this is what they're looking for. I would do that.
Yeah, that was such great times.
Well, because it mattered.
Although
it mattered.
Yeah.
To share the right information and to get the information out there.
Right. It mattered to you all, and it really showed that you care about your the product And that's why we as the audience cared about the network in
Right.
turn.
No, I got it.
Is because the network cared. But yeah, no, my dad, when I was, we had just gotten DirecTV satellite back.
Mhm.
I think it was the tail end of like 2000. It was like just after summer. And I was flipping channels. This is like right before I found Tech TV, and then I literally just stumble on the network. I'm like, what the heck is this? and then I like watch a couple of shows. I'm like, this is awesome. And I told my dad about it, and literally it became like a daily thing. I would watch, I would come home from school, catch the screensavers, and actually this kind of goes into a personal lament, Tech Live.
Right.
And then we would go eat dinner. Honestly, touching on Tech Live, that is something that we as like tech consumers kind of really miss.
Yeah.
Is a show like Tech Live, because that is bringing you the news from a tech perspective is something. I mean, you have things like Lions Tech Tips, but they're just bite-sized videos, and it's like, how many videos of his can you watch before you're like, okay, I'm done?
Well, it's
for the day.
So it's the product itself. If you could look at the network and the shows within it, the product itself was very much a product of its time, and very, very different in the sense that it was a unique destination that up and until that point really didn't get much more than maybe a couple of minutes of attention on the average news broadcast, certainly local news. So
right,
yeah, I totally I know what you mean. And that's not to take away, pardon me, from the videos and the types of videos that are being produced today. It's just different.
Yeah.
It's
it's
different.
different.
It's and that I think is, and I had this conversation I think with another Robert on Friday. I'm sure I'm getting names mixed up. Like I said, it's a really good beer. But there's no. I don't think there is a place for what it was, or certainly what it attempted to be. And I could be wrong. I'd be happy to be wrong in a day and age where there is an immense amount of amazing. I hesitate to distill it down to just the word content, but information that is shared by people who know what they're talking about. I don't know. I don't think on its own what was done was the wrong thing. That is specifically the network as it stood when I was there. It's that the intended audience just wasn't big enough, or they couldn't figure out where to pitch and position this thing. Which, for all intents and purposes, the internet was really just getting off the ground. I mean, the home computer revolution, was still,
revolution,
it was, right?
Yeah. I mean, ICANN had really just become a thing when y'all were just getting off the ground, and the internet was just literally becoming commercial around that time.
Well, people hadn't quite figured out where technology fit yet, and they would subsequently. And I think that part would only begin. Now, I'm not going to say post PC, but really with the era of smartphones, and which is more of the modern era, right? And so now,
right,
there's the question that I'm sure is wrestled with: could that be done again today? Well, who would tune into not a 24/7, but a live broadcast of technology news when they might be looking for, no, there's not enough time in the day. I just need, give me something quick. Yeah, a quick soundbite, a minute, 3 minutes. I don't have enough time. Can you get it down to a tweet? Our attention span has kind of been massaged to that point where as much as you might,
unfortunately,
you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's that's as much a part of it. The
Yeah.
culture around the content is just as much a part of the content direction as the intention for the content production itself. That's my opinion.
Yeah. No, and that's actually a good point where, I think, honestly, something like Tech Live would be appreciated if the average consumer could just slow down.
Yep. But now every time I turn around, but there's a new gadget, there's a new device. I can't even keep up. I'm like, I don't know. I can't keep up.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Back then it was your typical, 3 months product cycle where you actually had time to talk about the things.
Yeah, it's I'm sure someone wiser will come along and do something akin to it at some point in the future. It just takes
they will figure out a way to bring long form broadcast to the 3 products a minute market that we're in.
It's the masses. It's the people who don't have enough time and who may not. Well, this is my opinion. I think, and my head was always there. Communicating to those who don't necessarily know and who need that kind of assistance. Enabling people who aren't in the know, I think, is very powerful. And I think where that was at the time was relegated to this corner of the universe that really wasn't mainstream, which was its charm, and I think allowed it to flourish. But now technology is so sewn into
everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, it's prevalent. It's pervasive, and we can't extricate ourselves.
Yeah, it's ubiquitous
from it, right? And so, this is where I don't. There's no wrong way of effectively doing it, but even where I'm at the point where I do not digest on a regular basis any degree of quote unquote tech content apart from what might be relevant to my work and what have you, because there's so much of it and it's so drilled down deep.
Yeah, no, you'll just drive yourself insane trying to keep up with it all.
I can't, and I've never been a gadget guy. Like when people would see me talking to the lab rats, it was genuine. Like I literally couldn't tell you the difference between one thing or another. I'm like, I have no idea. I'm not a gadget guy. I'm a software guy. I like software. I will always like software.
I'm a software guy as well. Yeah, no, I have been into operating systems and all of that since Windows 3 came out.
Right.
Like back in 1990. I'm like, literally, I had this like 10-year-old reaction. Like, you can do that with computers? Yes, please. And I knew this was the direction I wanted to go in ever since that hit, because it was like, you can improve people's lives by actually creating something useful on a computer. That's awesome,
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way, and not from the sense of what technology is, but for what it can do.
Yeah, what it can do, not necessarily. I kind of curse my lot in a little bit in getting stuck. I often kind of tongue in cheek label myself a software engineer, a low-level operating system guy who got stuck doing a web development job, but it's a living, but I wouldn't honestly take it. The challenge is there, even if it may not be the challenge I'm necessarily looking for. And what I mean by that is that it would give me it gives me a chance to personally pursue the other things that I'm personally interested in,
Yep.
while still solving like problems and not getting burnt out on my passion.
Yeah, you see, you're speaking to my heart, because even with technology, when I first started to really recognize it as not my future, but I knew that I wouldn't be able to, pull myself away, and that was,
Yeah.
still in college, getting ready to graduate. I didn't see what I think people would think I would have saw. I was more interested in how computers and technology impacted our lives. So more industrial organizational psychology rather than engineering, development, programming, general nerdery. It was always about, what does this mean? How is it used? And that, honestly, that is still very much a part of me. It's changed, and it's had to have
Right.
changed over time, because technology takes a different role
Yeah.
throughout our lives, and
And
culture has evolved.
Yeah, not only that, but it takes a different path as as people understand new things, as new things are developed, and the industry will just kind of follow its own path.
Yep.
However, you and I are speaking the same language, but from opposite sides. I'm approaching this from a software engineer, but you're approaching this from the reviewer side, who would take like my somebody like me, like my work, and say, okay, what does this mean? How do I make it work for the average person?
Yeah, that's fair. Although I've never,
Yep. No.
I've never been a reviewer. I've never seen myself as that. I guess
Not
more
a
of
reviewer, but like, yeah.
consumer.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
I hear you.
yeah,
I think I'm understanding you. I think I do.
yeah. We're approaching the same thing, just from different sides. Like I'm the, how do I make this work? How do I how do I produce software that solves people's problems? And you're taking that software and saying, okay, now how, through a show like Call for Help, saying, now how do I make, and how do I help make this make sense for other people?
Right. It's critical.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, no. We're both of our both our industries and functions, or whatever you would call it, are very critical. But yeah, no, just wanted to say hi and hope y'all are hanging in there. And
Yeah, we are. And no, but thanks for calling.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, I have a cat who eats like literally a metric ton every day, so that's fun. He's got a thyroid issue.
Oh, yeah. Our
He goes through it.
One of our dog. Well, now our only dog may have had a thyroid issue, but they ruled that invalid conclusion.
But yeah, no, literally, he's gone through 3 cans of cat food today.
Wow, that
Yeah.
sounds like a lot. I don't know how big the cat food cans are, but that sounds that sounds like a lot.
Well, okay, so like it's about the width of like a coaster, and about a, trying to think
I'm
the
familiar.
bottom
Yeah, no,
of like a rec.
Yeah,
Hmm?
I'm familiar with the general size of cat food, but man, it's
Yeah.
3 cans
Yeah.
has got to be a lot.
Wet cat food. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's about like what I have to do.
and he's still apparently losing weight. So so
Wow.
his yep.
Well, I wish him well.
I mean, you do what you can.
Yeah.
Well, thank
sure.
you,
I hear
sir, and I wish you well.
You as well. Take care.
Thank you.
You too.
You as well.
Right.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. This is fun. I gotta admit. I'm thinking every day, that I've done this now, the 2 days, I'm like, all right, I'll keep it to an hour. And then I'm like, no, but I can't. There's too many people to talk to. And then Diana disappears. I still can't figure out what the hell she was trying to charade me. So if you hear any, I thought about, here, let me try something. I'm going to try something. I don't know if it's going to work. This is me tweaking software. If you hear any weirdness, I apologize. I'm picking up the device. And I think I'm picking up the device. Is it going to let me do this? Oh, it doesn't let me do the thing. I can't. No. That's not what I meant to do. No. That mutes my mic. I can't actually drag that up. Okay, never mind. I was going to try to take a picture, change the picture, the thumbnail icon of the food that Diana brought me. So you have to pardon if you hear any clicking or tapping in the middle of these calls. This is like a mukbang. It's an audio mukbang. All you ASMR folks. Well, I think I don't know if the two really cross over. Do mukbangs cross over into ASMR? I'm showing my naivete. I don't know. We do have we do have more people in the queue. We've got right now. It's hovering between 5 and 7 people in the queue. I can't tell who's next. I just press the button, and whoever you're in the chamber and you get loaded in. That's how it works on my end. Diana brought, like I mentioned earlier, food, and this is dinner time, so you get to eat virtually with me. That's not quite cat food. I think that's where the hiccups are coming from. Man, I'm not eating fast. I'm not eating too fast. It's an amazing array of vegetables and rice, grains, and whatnots. So I'm going to try to take another bite before I take another call. Hopefully, hopefully you're as patient with me as anything. Because she's not here. She disappeared. If it sounds like I have food in my mouth, right now I do. But if it sounds like I have food in my mouth when I'm answering someone or talking to somebody who calls in, that's why. Someone might ask, well, Chris, why do you take calls if you're eating? Why? No. That's not the question. Why not is the question. Were you afraid I'm going to spit on you? Were you afraid? It's good food. Everyone's got to eat. So if you hear these sounds, here's the sounds. Can you hear that? I don't know if the mic is picking it up. I'm doing my best to be as silent as I can because I don't have the ability to mute my mic when I'm on a call. It's just this bizarre new app. But I already have different feedback for them when I give them the next set of feedback. But we're into an hour now. I'm going to continue to take calls because I don't know if I'm going to get into any new Netflix show, despite, what is it, Longmire, that someone recommended earlier? I keep thinking, isn't it Longmire from Ozark? That family, Longmires? That's what I thought he was referencing first. Maybe you'd only get it if you've seen Ozark, which I have now seen it all. All right, okay. I'm going to bite everything in my mouth. Or, I'm sorry, chew, biting vicariously. I'm also covering my mouth like that. I'm trying to be polite, so that my maw is not. I'm not going to chew into the mic. But if you hear any smacking, Not like human smacking, more lip smacking. It is unintentional. It is not meant to be rude. It is meant to invite you in to the live audio experience. Hey man, people want to know, right? You know, some people do closet tours out there. Daddy. I refer to myself in that way when Diana and I are having conversations with Jedi. I'm not Chris anymore. I'm Daddy. Daddy does this. Daddy does that. It's, you wouldn't understand unless you're a parent. You wouldn't understand. I have to shift mode sometimes. And apparently my mind is mid-shift. I'm grinding my gears. You know what really grinds my gears? That was a really bad Peter Griffin impression. I should not have taken another bite. I'm also not going to answer the next call, with a bite in my mouth, with food in my mouth. Okay, here we go. This is just good food. I needed it too. I needed sustenance, something that was healthy. I wanted to take a picture. Actually, I can take a picture here. No, I don't know if it's like I've eaten half of it. So the picture I would take and share onto Twitter, it just would not look all that appetizing. But it's good flavor. All right, we're going to try another call here. That is a loud ringing sound on my end. That's a very loud ringing sound. Hey, this is Chris.
Hey, Chris, this is Robert. How's it going?
It's going well.
We
Long
spoke
time no talk.
last Friday.
Yeah. No, I'm not eating right now.
So what's up for dinner tonight? I'm curious. I'm sure everybody else is
It's just
as
a bunch of right now it's just a mishmash of vegetables, like onions and lettuce and potatoes and rice and
oh, that's right. You're vegan, right?
Vegan. I'm one of those. Not like a militant vegan who gets angry at everybody who
100% or just like
100. Yeah, 100%.
100%.
For two, but I gotta tell you, you know,
when did you change that?
I did the videos 3 years ago, almost 3 years ago, 2 3/4 years ago. They're posted to the channel. I haven't done any updates past like the first initial months, but in getting a oximeter, which we picked up recently because, you know, just kind of keeping an eye on our oxygen levels, specifically because, you know, we don't want to get caught unaware. It's got like basically a way to measure your pulse as well on the end of your finger. And I knew my heart rate was decent. Last year I had a what they call a calcium test, where you go into like an MRI and they measure the amount of buildup.
Okay, so you switched for health reasons.
I primarily, yeah. It was 99% of it is health. Everything else is a bonus, right? Being, you know, the all the everything that you layer on top of it, right? But it started with health. But it, you know, my calcium score came back 0, which at, you know, 47, 46 or whatever. I mean, having my age and that calcium score, you know, to me was just amazing. And then in taking my pulse recently, it's been measuring like at rest, like in between like 60 and 70 like beats per minute. I'm like, damn, dude. Like I'm not a guy who like works out. Yeah. Like, you know, working out is going up and down the stairs. You know what I'm saying? You know, picking up a fork and moving it to your mouth and placing it back on the plate again. That's a workout to me. So to have a resting heart rate, yeah, you know, it was I would directly attribute my food choices, specifically in a vegan, so no animal product. You just heard the fork slide there, possibly. No animal product, no animal byproduct. I would largely say that my pulse is as low as it is, resting or even elevated, even after having caffeine, coupled with like a non-existent calcium score of like plaque buildup in my arteries, I attribute that directly to my dietary choices. Because it isn't because I'm working out, because I'm not. So yeah, that's it's everything else on top. I know this is probably not why you called in. I apologize.
I should get one of those tests done as well.
What's that?
I mean, I'm a huge meat eater. I mean, I should probably get one of those tests as well, but I'd probably be scared to see what the results are.
You know, I used to. I mean, people who followed me for ages would know that I've tried just about everything, especially for weight management. And not to say that going vegan will do it, because I can still eat an awful lot. They got vegan ice cream out there. Dark chocolate is vegan. So, you know, I've done a lot. I've been there, done that. My cholesterol has always been high. Before I went in for the calcium test, I made sure I went kind of not overboard, but minimized oil intake, and also that was, I think that was pretty much it. The only thing I did was really monitor what I was eating, like oil, like, you know, like I wouldn't eat potato chips for a month, yeah, that kind of thing. By and large, I'm not saying it's whole food, plant based, but everything on my plate, apart from sauces, is probably, you know, along those lines, and it's more than sufficient. It has been more than sufficient for me. Everyone's got a different choice. That's the thing, is like, I'm not a militant. I say that very clearly because I made my choice because that was my body. I'm like, dude, I got to do something. I was worried. I was really worried going into my mid 40s. Then, you know, heart attacks can happen. Yeah. And because I'm prone to stress and panic attacks, you know, I wanted to, like, what can I do to stack the deck in my favor? And that's effectively kind of how I came to the conclusion.
That, and if you got a history in your family of like heart disease or strokes,
you know,
that puts you at greater risk.
Yeah, my grandmother did have a stroke. At least that I know of. That's the only you know, immediate family that might have had any kind of issues with that. But just knowing what I know, and listening to what I listen to, and understanding what I understand, I made a lot of different health choices like eons ago. Back in the late 90s, I low carbed, and it worked for the most part. But what I learned, what my takeaway from that back then, was avoiding trans fats and hydrogenated oils, like anywhere, you know, where it might have been on the label and what have you. And that, for the most part, has stuck. Like I have not, I've by and large been trans fat free for darn near 2 decades. You know, and so even if I wasn't necessarily eliminating animal product from my diet, I was trying to be conscious, like, okay, what is it gonna, my goal was always, what is it gonna take, again, to stack the deck in my favor? What can I do to ensure that at least if I'm gonna fall into disrepair, it isn't because I'm unintentionally doing something that could end up harming me. I'm sure beer is not a great thing to ingest. It's fun, you know. Coffee. I mean, people, you know, they go back and forth. Coffee's good. Coffee's bad. Coffee's good. I'm like, I don't care. It tastes awesome. I'm gonna die with an espresso shot in my mouth. Okay. So, you know, there's lines that you know, that I'm not gonna probably cross. But yeah, it was all that choice. Diana kind of nudged me to it. And she, I think, was a bit more reluctant. She doesn't. I think she thinks differently about it than I might. But she's vegan as well.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, man. I mean, I'm Mexican as well. So.
Oh yeah.
You're missing out. You're missing out on some awesome food.
No, and, dude.
I mean, I'm not sure.
Dude, I've had.
If Diana, you used to.
Dude, she made me a bread. She was just talking about making a burrito on the stove. I didn't know it was mine. No, dude, there's I can eat anything. Well, not anything.
Yeah.
And it may not be exactly the same, but for the most part.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, most Mexican food, I mean, it's really not healthy though. It's loaded with carbs.
All right. Well,
but it tastes so good.
Yeah, that's. I'll definitely. Sorry for like totally derailing the conversation. Well, you asked what I was eating.
No, actually, I think Yeah, I think I started that one. So I actually have a tech question for you tonight. So I'm going to be in the market pretty soon here for a new gaming PC, and I wanted to get your opinion on some different options here.
So
the
the
three options. I was thinking about.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
You had some qualifiers.
No. So I got three different options, right? So I can pick my own parts and build it myself. The second option, going to a big box store like Best Buy. Well, actually, probably right now I probably can't do that, but buy one out of the store. Or the third option would be to go like on a website like Exotic PC or iBuyPower and pick the parts and have them build it.
So
and send it out to me.
I
want to hear your thoughts or pros and cons.
Okay, I can only speak in generalities because I can't make recommendations. And the reason why is, as an Intel employee, I'm specifically, it's a mandate. Like, no, I can't make recommendations. No playing favorites. So I'm going to speak around it. And I think that's just as apt. The question I always ask is, what's your use case? What do you want to get out of it? And in so many cases, you have is it the journey or is it the destination or is it both? And in many ways, that viewpoint could very well dictate which path you're going to go down. Of course, I work for Intel and specifically Intel graphics. So I'm going to sit here and say in a biased way, hello, of course, Intel is awesome, which is true. I mean, I've had Intel. I've listed Intel as the reason I flipped to Mac OS, right? It made it easier to switch back in the day. I've always been a fan of Intel, even before I was working there. But if you look at it like, do I just want to have something that's going to be good now, or do you want to be able to get in and adjust things as you go along? So many of these questions are going to dictate the answer. So if you say, I just want something that's good right now, well, then you may very well be steered towards more of a not an all-in-one solution, but more of a general purchase that's built for general reasons or maybe specific reasons, but that is what it is. Versus, no, I'm probably going to want to upgrade it down the line, which a lot of PC users are prone to do. So you're probably going to want to have more hands-on, like in terms of this is the component I'm going to put in there because I know I'm the one who's going to be supporting it. And I know the ease of use of moving this part out in exchange for another part. Of course, there's, no such thing as having something perfect forever, but that's where I, go back to the I guess really answering the question. This is only something you can answer. Is it the journey or the destination? And if both are equal, then I really think kind of rolling in my humble opinion, not making a specific recommendation of hardware or anything, now that I've made this disclosure and disclaimer very clear, if the journey is just as important as the destination, then I think, not only would you learn a lot, but you would also have a greater degree of ownership in the thing that you own, in the sense that you put it together, in the sense that you will also potentially be not just taking matters into your own hands, but if it's not as much of a worry for you, should something go wrong that you couldn't fix it or you couldn't address it, if you are fine in being your own support point person, all the answers to these questions get you to the ultimate answer. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, I did, the only PC I ever built was back in the day, back when I was at Tech TV, and I'll never do it again. It was fun. Don't get me wrong, but I'm like, I'm not a hardware guy. I'm like, I can figure out what's going on with the software, but I'm not a hardware guy. And it was interesting, but I'm like, I can't answer these questions on my own. And so, for me, my path would, certainly be different. But I do see a lot of validity if I were me personally inclined to do something like that and build my own. I'd be, or if I was facing the same choice as you, I'll put it that way, and I had the same background and interest that you might, wherein these are valid opportunities or paths to go down, I would probably be inclined to build my own, because part of that community, around building PC and modding and everything is making it what you want it to be. And there are so many amazing options to have.
Yeah.
I'm not at that point. I'm at the point in my life where I'm like, dude, I just want to turn it on. I need it to work. I don't. I'm a dad now. I'm like, I got to figure out my wife's charades. Like, I ain't nobody got time for that. So it's not.
Yeah,
Not
exactly.
being. So
I gotcha.
So, but it's not to take away from what it is. But I think if you start answering those questions around each one of these propositions, I think you're going to find yourself better being able to answer that question for yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, making a decision. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah. Yeah, the other thing I wanted to talk to you tonight about was you were talking a little bit about Netflix earlier, recommendations and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry if I missed a previous stream
No.
where you
It's okay.
spoke about this, but
Yeah.
Are you watching The Witcher?
Yep.
Are you
Binged
a
it.
fan?
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, I'm this kind of guy. I didn't even know it was a video game. Like, I finished it and like, oh, it's a video game.
Yeah, exactly. I never read the books. I never played the video games.
It's a book.
And one day, I saw it on Netflix, and I was like, what is this? I was hooked.
I enjoyed the storytelling.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the characters.
Yeah.
I everything about it I enjoyed. Like, The Witcher is my kind of show.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it has everything. I mean, it's definitely not for kids. It's not a family-friendly show, but
no.
Yeah, it has everything in it, man. It was awesome.
I enjoyed it.
I can't wait for season 2.
I think they've got a hit on their hands.
Yeah,
for sure. So I'm caught up.
Okay. So on that note, I'm also curious too. How do you balance your time around your work, obviously at Intel, all your favorite movies, Netflix, Star Wars, and Baby Shark. I mean, watching kids shows with little Jedi.
So I've always been a work from home kind of guy. I mean, even when I wasn't, like, starting Locker Gnome in the mid '90s, it was at home. Yeah, lowered. It was lower overhead. The only,
right.
In fact, the only time I've ever really quote unquote gone into the office was specifically the 2 years I was at Tech TV. That was a change. Remote work wasn't, certainly a possibility for that. But even then, I spent most of the time not at my desk, not in a cubicle, but in the studio, because that's where, most of my work I felt I could get done, on my own, making sure that the rundown was what it needed to be.
Yeah, you were probably
stuff. Yeah.
You're probably only behind the podium for 45 minutes or whatever, answering questions.
Well, I did. Usually, I mean, eventually I found my routine. I was able to walk from where I lived to the office, and then walk from the office to the studio. They weren't quite right around the block from each other, but it was enough to get daily exercise. I walked everywhere. At least on the average day. But I would get there in the morning. We would have our meeting for what was going to happen. What was, we'd be planning ahead, and then after the meeting, I would go from the office to the studio, and then I would be basically preparing most of the day, where I'd be working on the rundown, making sure the machines had what they needed to have. That we were set up, that I was prepared for the day, for that hour of the live broadcast, and then after that, it was preparing for the next day or the future, or researching or what have you. So I found my own routine. And so here at home, certainly as long as Diana's known me, I've worked here and been here largely. We don't really have too many boundaries, apart from my room, my play shop, which generally speaking, if I'm here and Jedi will trot in, she wants candy. Hello, not a joke. But when we have when I have something going on, I'll let her know. I'm like, yeah, I've got a meeting here. I got a meeting here. I got a meeting here. Otherwise, I'm working. And so I'm generally, quote unquote, I'm always on the clock. I'm always working, but specifically, business hours, 8 to 5, 9 to 5, right in that range. But, at 5 o'clock, that's usually where I'm like, okay, it's 5 o'clock. That's typically the end of the business day. I'll still do stuff and prepare stuff and look into stuff and research stuff. But that's typically where, okay, that's the line. Jedi, as a matter of fact, said on multiple occasions that she wished I didn't have to do what I did, because then I'd be able to play with her more. Because mommy, Diana, always says, well, Daddy can't do that because he's got to work. And she doesn't understand, she doesn't understand those roles, because I am not gone. I am not, disappeared from her life. So for her, the boundaries aren't as clear. And even for Diana and I, the boundaries aren't clear. But I'm, anybody who knows me well knows that if I got to get something done, I'm going to get it done. Like, this has got to get done. This is my responsibility. I have to take care of it. And so, those boundaries exist between Diana and myself. But when I'm done, then, I'm available. And then sometimes it's whatever Jedi might want to do, or if I've got 15 minutes here or there to do something very, very quickly. And hopefully that doesn't end in tears. But sometimes, and rarely, is it watching TV with her outright. It might be a brief activity. Sometimes she'll be in the middle of coloring and I'll pick something up and start playing with her. Or she'll be playing with Lego bricks and I'll jump in and start playing with it. Generally speaking, it's just, being available, but also setting boundaries and being very clear that there are responsibilities that have to be addressed in one way, shape, or form.
Gotcha.
That's
I'm
everyone
not quite
finds their
there
path.
yet. Don't have any kids yet, so lucky for me, I don't quite have any boundaries. So I got that luxury still. So.
Changes your life, man. Changes your life.
Yeah, that's what I hear. So.
It's true. Thanks for calling.
All right,
again,
I'll let you move on to the next.
Sure.
Next caller. It's been great talking to you tonight.
Yeah, thanks.
All right.
Thanks again.
Bye. All right, take care, Chris.
Yep, you too.
Good night.
Yep. I'm going to do something that I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to crash. I don't know if it's going to do something weird. I'm going to try to plug this thing in because I don't want to lose juice. Hopefully that worked. Okay, so that worked. It looks like I'm getting like radiating, pulsating heartbeats from my icon. So that worked. Okay, I assume you can still hear me. I plugged it into something else and it's working and I don't have any dialogues popping up. I'm going to continue to take bites to eat, but first I'm going to answer the next call. Dialogues. Hey! Up. I'm going to continue to take bites. No, not that guy. That's old Chris Pirillo. That's Chris Pirillo of the past. This is Chris Pirillo of the present. That's got to throw you guys off.
Hey, Chris.
Hey.
Aaron Weston Goddard here.
Hey.
How's life in lockdown?
Aaron. It's Aaron, right? Sorry, I talked over it, right? Aaron?
Yes.
I knew your voice. Aaron, I know your voice. I know your voice all too well. Yeah. We go way back. It's good. I believe it or not, I've been able to like eat dinner and have a talkie show podcast thing simultaneously. I think that's got to be a record. Nobody else would dare to do that, I assume. Yeah, we're fine.
Everyone
okay.
knows my voice. I am the poor man's Stephen Hawking.
Yeah, but wait a minute. How do we not know that this is actually Stephen Hawking appearing trying to be you? How do we not know that? Like, you could be Stephen Hawking, like, impersonating. That's got to be a thing. You got to wonder. Because you don't know. You don't know if I'm wearing pants. I don't know if you're Stephen Hawking. I can't prove it. I can't.
Well, I don't know crap about black holes.
You want a black hole? Try to, Diana and I have been in arguments that go nowhere. Those are black holes. Let me tell you, getting in an argument with Diana, you'll understand black holes. They go nowhere. But that's normal.
I just want to say we are all praying for your prostate.
Well, I haven't had any decongestants today. So my prostate is fine. Don't ask me how I knew this was going to be a problem years ago when I first discovered this problem. But this is what's kept me from, getting a decongestant. If it gets bad with my nose buildup, then I may put my prostate on the line. I'm like, just take one for the team. It's one body, right? But I so far so good. I'm not. My nose is not stuffed up, and I'm not draining it. I'm not coughing. Today was a good day, but I don't know if it's because of the weather. It was really rainy today, so I don't know if it like tamped down all the pollen out there, which is possible. But I'm worried about this spring. I'm really worried because allergies. It's always a thing, but this year it just seems to be so bad, and maybe it's because of everything else that's around it. I don't know.
Wait, it rains in Seattle?
Yeah, I know. You never hear about it. All you see are sunny pictures from Seattle. Every so often we'll get a bit of that. It makes me mad when the sun comes out. And Jedi doesn't like the rain apparently, which tells me one thing: she's probably going to move from Seattle as soon as she can. I won't. This is it.
Also, sorry to hear about Diana having Bieber fever.
Yeah, Bieber fever is a thing. It's she had to quarantine her music player, and it was very difficult to pull that away. She kept saying, "No, that's not Justin." I'm like, I don't believe you, Diana. This is the problem: is like when you have Bieber fever, you're liable to do anything. That's not. I can't let that happen around here.
I'm so sorry.
I know. Sucks. Yeah, it does suck. I'm coping. Day by day, I take it day by day, and I try my best to just know that we'll get through this. And so long as Jedi does not also show symptoms of having Bieber fever, I think we'll be fine. We'll be fine. I hope.
So is Seattle like right now? It must be scary about now. It must feel like a zombie movie there.
Not as bad as New York, seemingly. I haven't gotten out as much, of course, because of everything that's going on. If you don't need to leave, don't. But I think Seattle is generally a community I think is going to pull through just fine. I'm not too worried about Seattle. I'm more concerned with other areas of the country and the world. Seattle has a certain degree of resilience about it. In the times that I do go out to get groceries, it seems to be pretty average for me because I usually go in the mornings anyway where traffic's low. So maybe it's a little lower than average, or what I've learned is that it usually stays with about the same amount of people in the store throughout the day, whereas usually it usually increases with foot traffic throughout the day. So for the most part, from what I've seen personally, there's not as much stuff going on, but it's not as bad as I think other places. And I know it's bad, but it just doesn't seem to be as desolate, or certainly not past the point of hopelessness. But we did tonight. I heard the mayor of Seattle talk about how we've reduced the transmission rate from, I think it was from 2.4. When one person has it and they pass it along, whether they're asymptomatic or showing symptoms, we've dropped the rate from 2.4 to 1.8 over the past couple of weeks. We haven't reached peak yet. That will likely happen, mid-April. But all signs seem to indicate that what we're doing now is working. We've lowered that transmission rate, and if we can get it under 1, it would be fantastic. But the fact that it's moving that direction, we've been able to better flatten that curve. It's somewhat hopeful. Sorry, I'm talking. I'll let you get a word in.
Florida will take a while, I am sure, because of the mega churches and the spring breakers.
Oh man, yeah, Florida was a hot spot. I saw the Kinza app, which I knew about. They sponsored like a blog post years ago, and hadn't thought much about them. They hit the radar again the Kansas Smart Thermometer app showing that Florida was just bright red. This was a couple of weeks ago. I'm like, oh, dude, Florida's going to be a problem. So if there is a state in the union that I'm concerned about now, it is Florida, for sure. New York is we're not through it yet. Absolutely. I mean, Seattle's not this general area of the Pacific Northwest. New York's got a ways to go, but yeah, Florida. Yeah, Florida may have been a little too late to react, and so much could have been mitigated. Even our friend John from the Super Awesome Geek Show got sick, he and his father, which likely could have been that. We don't know because testing is apparently not available to everybody and anybody with any degree of ease anywhere here, anywhere. But, yeah, Florida just seems, out of all the states, seem to be the most red of lit up by fevers that are unseasonal or unexpected, certainly this time of year, according to Kansas charts. Yeah. So, yay, Florida.
At least Disney World is closed.
Sorry, what was that?
At least Disney World is closed.
Yeah.
Have you been on Rise of the Resistance yet? To change subjects.
Yeah, no. I was on. I did the Galaxy's Edge when they launched. They sent a notification. This is before a lot of the stuff started happening. They sent a notification saying, "Hey, you are invited to come to the Rise of the Resistance before it launches here in Disneyland." And I was like, "Oh yeah, great!" And they, Jedi and I can go because they wouldn't, or I thought the whole family could go. They said only 2 people. I'm like, okay, well maybe Jedi and I could go. And, we had planned it, and then we had to figure out how to make, kind of everything work. And then they got back to me and they said, yeah, well, we won't be able to cover flight or hotel. I'm like, well, I'm not going to spend $2,000, $3,000 to fly down for a day. It's just not practical at all. So I did have a chance to do Rise of the Resistance, the ride, but unfortunately couldn't. But it just wasn't in the budget. I couldn't justify doing it myself. And even just doing it myself, I could not justify paying what I would need to pay to make it happen. So it'll wait. I'm sure we'll have another opportunity, at some point in the future, for Disney World or Disney.
Well, I was going to go to New York a few weeks ago. Luckily, we were smart enough to cancel the trip.
Yeah, Diana was supposed to be in Texas right now. She was scheduled to go down. God, when was it? Seems like a lifetime ago. It was a few weeks back before things really got serious, and we were right on that cusp. And I said, "No, Diana, I think you'll be fine. I think you'll be fine." She wasn't sure, and ultimately she decided to stay. And it was good that she did, because now it really would be unknown as to when she'd be able to get back here safely, one direction or another, without exposing herself. But even where she's from, she had mentioned that someone there ended up getting sick with the virus. And so even in a small town, it's going to leave no community unscathed, so to speak. But it was down to the wire for us too. So I'm glad that Diana didn't go. I'm glad she's here. I feel much better about it. But yeah, she almost had the same thing happen. Not New York, obviously, Texas, but same thing.
At least nobody I know is stuck in Italy, which, holy crap.
Yeah. The interesting thing about Italy and everything, not to make lemonade out of lemons, Diana's seen some of the videos that leaders have posted to social media, basically yelling at people. I'm like, Diana, see this? You hear these guys here? This is Italy. This is what Italians do. Like this, we yell at people. So like when I raise my voice, and get excited about something, this is what we do. It's in our blood.
And yes, people talk with their hands too.
Yeah, Diana wasn't used to that. And she got used to it. It's more the more videos I can show of Italians and what they do without realizing that's what they do, the more I think she understands, like, oh, it's not just Chris. You're right. It's not just me. It's not just me. Sorry, I'm pausing to take a bite to eat too, as well as to allow you to get a word in edgewise.
Well, if Diana is listening to us, hello, miss you on the vlogs and TLDR.
Well, Jedi's here. She just trotted into the room. What was the question you're asking?
Have I seen your doctor kit?
Have I seen your doctor kit?
Yeah.
It might be in your tent. And she's gone.
Okay. Who are you talking to?
That's Aaron. That's Aaron.
He sounds... Well...
Yeah, I'm talking to Aaron.
Very weird, I don't get.
Say that again?
Very weird, I know.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. And Diana just trotted into the room, too.
Hi, Aaron?
Mm-hmm. Question door.
Hey there, how are you?
That was for you, Diana.
Oh, I am doing well.
She had to think about it, Aaron.
Yeah.
She had to think about it. That just tells you where she's at.
No, I'm okay.
That was your cue?
Yeah. That was your cue. Boy, you two are just a bunch of conversationalists, aren't you? If you get disconnected, you can keep calling back. And now they're gone. That's
I will let others talk to you. So nice chatting. I miss TLDR, but so does everyone else.
Yeah. Now, I appreciate the sentiment on the blogs, as well as TLDR. You know, yeah. I wish we could rewind the clock, but it's good that we can still do something together. But thank you for calling, Aaron. Good to hear your voice again.
Glad you are still out there.
Me too. Although it depends on the argument I have with Diana. That's
take care.
You too. That was Aaron. And now, let me see here. I was checking something else. You believe it or not, Aaron, and Robert before Aaron, I was able to finish my dinner while talking to you. I don't know if anybody could tell. It's true. Okay, gonna answer the next line, call, the phone thing. Even if it's not really a phone. I mean, it is the phone.
Call.
Hey, it's me. Over here.
Really
over here.
Shut up.
It's
Chris.
I'm here.
Oh my gosh. Hello. This is so exciting. My name is Wendy. How are you?
I am great.
Oh my gosh. You have no idea how big of a fan I am, not just of you, of Diana and Jedi.
Well,
I've been watching you for years here from Texas. And I just saw this and I was so excited. I've been following you ever since the family started. Pretty much Jedi and my daughter are similar in age, and I really connected, especially when Diana was doing her Instagram and doing her vlogs, and I really connected with, you know, having, as you would say, the stereotypical nerd husband and, you know, the glam wife where you're just like, okay, we're all sassy, but we also understand the husband wanting to be into his sci-fi and, you know, having these conversations where we're like, I don't even know how to go with it, but I love you and I'm here to, you know, support it. And, you know, throughout, you know, the years and constantly, you know, seeing you guys, it's really exciting that I'm finally able to talk to you.
And, you know, Diana was on the other side of the house and she heard her name and she flew back into the room.
Diana, you're awesome, girl. You have no idea how much I support you if you're hearing me. Honestly, I'm like getting emotional because I know long distance would be with your family. Diana, hello, girl.
Hi. Oh, no, I'm getting emotional.
Yes, I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, I cannot believe. I'm like, you know what? It's worth a try. It's totally worth a try. My husband and I turned 12 years yesterday of being married. I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional. If everybody's
no.
listening,
Congratulations.
hello.
That's great.
Wow.
That's a milestone.
Yeah.
It is. It hasn't been easy. I'm still in my late 20s, having my family and, you know, having the career and everything. You know, life gets on hold. And obviously, you know, with social media being out and everything happening right now and being a parent, I overheard earlier, you know, somebody asked, how do you balance having media and doing work and doing everything? But, you know, with faith of God and whatever, you know, whoever you believe in, you know, they give you that energy for you to continue to fight for it. You know, I saw the loss of Wicked, and that broke my heart because I have a 12-year-old Shih Tzu, and I could definitely, you know, venture out from that feeling, you know, where it's the relationship with me and my husband. You've kind of had that, you know, since Diana's relationship. Y'all have grown y'all's family. You've seen the joy that these are puppies that bring happiness to our kids, you know, and bring it to ourselves. And it's just a different sense of energy that brings us life.
Yep.
You know, after you turn off all the cameras, you turn off everything, and, you know, it's time where your family and you, it's together, you know, you feel very united. And I've always felt that with you guys because I felt y'all have always been very authentic. And I'm sure all of your viewers could also, you know, agree with that. You know, you've never sugarcoated it. I still remember when Diana made you go to the dentist to go teeth whiten, and you're just like, I don't know why I'm here. You know, you're like, you're drinking your cup of coffee, and you're like, I'm drinking my coffee still.
I got to tell you, in the sense of transparency, right now, we've got a little one who is clamoring in a very, I don't know if you could, you probably didn't hear, it went from a nice, mama, mama, mama. Like it was like, it went to, from 1 to a 10. And so the divided attention that's happening here in the background is hilarious.
This is fantastic. Right now, like I mentioned, 12 years ago, I got into a relationship with my husband, not thinking that anything of it, you know. I'm a mom of 2, and my daughter's going to be 5 in July, and my son is a year, well, 9. His birthday's on Easter, but obviously with quarantine, what is life now, right?
Right.
So suddenly we became bakers, and we became editors, and we became pretty much everything here, where we're like, I didn't even know I could DIY, but I guess so, you know?
No.
And I've gotten to watch a ton of Netflix, and I'm sure you guys have as well.
Yeah, I think I've had a chance to watch a little more than Diana, but we just set up her room such that she could broadcast like Facebook. There's been more Facebook Live videos going on where people will like be having classes, and instead of in person where she might normally go with Jedi, they're now broadcasting like online because of the isolation and what have you. So I set it up so that she could connect her computer to the TV and then broadcast to it. So she's been spending more time there. Of course, Jedi has her own ideas. Right now, she came trotting up here about 10 minutes ago asking where her doctor kit was. And
I heard.
Yeah, so that Daddy, the keeper of all things, who typically might know where something is, knew exactly where it was. And and so she's playing. So Diana got pulled off to play doctor. That was the whole, mommy, I need a patient. Jedi lost her patience, which is the irony, because mommy wasn't the patient. Apparently. So, yeah.
We're doctors, we're teachers, we're pretty much everything you were imagining when you were her age.
Yeah.
But now we actually really, like, honestly, I'm like, am I a doctor at this point? I'm like, I don't even know. I'm like, am I qualified? Then I end up watching so many YouTube and videos, and I'm like, I think I'm YouTube qualified to be a doctor.
Yeah, that's
you know?
Diana. That's Diana. She'll like Google everything, look up everything, and then tell me, oh, it's actually. I'm like, what? Yeah.
Totally. I think I've already thought that I had the corona like 10 times because of the random cough that I had.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And I'm just like, where did I go? I didn't go nowhere. I'm like, I have no idea.
Well,
But I saw this and it really brought me joy that you're doing this.
Yeah.
And, you know, in despite of everything that's going around, you have no idea. And, you know, seeing obviously with you, you've seen that Allie and her husband as well are, you know, kind of going through this battle, and you're best friends with him, I'm assuming, since I've been with him for years. What are your thoughts of him needing his, you know, upcoming surgery?
You know,
have you been keeping an eye on him?
Yeah, that's probably one of my biggest fears, right? Especially, and I realized he was kind of
Right.
inverse, not having a kid when he went through it, now having a kid. Like, that's one of my bigger fears for Jedi's sake. And as much as, boy, let me tell you, she and I butt heads like you would not believe. Like, we're constantly.
Oh no, I could imagine. You know how many times my daughter said, "You're gonna touch this, you're gonna die," and I'm like, "Child, you're only how old?" I'm like, their mind is beyond it. Where I'm like, "Am I crazy?" No, I'm not the crazy one. She just like pointed something out that I didn't even realize it. They catch you, and you're just like, "I sure did do that," you know?
Yeah, I'm. That's the thing is at some point in time, Jedi's going to be in public and she's going to drop the F-bomb, and like, and that's when I say I only have her on the weekends, you know, or something like that.
Right? I'm a single dad. I don't know. This is a mom. I know.
Don't get me started. Like,
it's my niece calling me daddy. We're pretending.
So, you know, it's an immense fear. You know, I'd imagine as, you know, well, as a father, certainly, and I'd imagine just generally as a parent. So, you know, from that standpoint, I can certainly empathize, because you're when you have something like that hit you, you're never fully free of it. It's always that sword of Damocles. It's always that threat that's on the horizon. And so I'm very glad he finally had, I mean, to this point, I have every belief that he'll pull through anything because he can, and he's a fighter.
I know.
But that he is a father now, right? And that to me is a blessing that he has going into this, that's going to give him that much more spirit, you know, more fight, more
exactly
vigor. And you know, I hope that he can tap into that and leverage that in whatever way that it might be, you know, able to be leveraged, because, you know, when you're up against forces that are seemingly beyond our comprehension, let alone control. You know, anytime I hear of anybody in my circle who when they hit a wall in one way, shape, or form, it's hard because it causes you to reflect upon what you have, and the things that, you know, may not be perfect, but suddenly, you know, a lot of problems start melding away, or, you know, first world problems, right? And I've joked with Diana at times where she'll say something and I know it's just egregious, it's just over the top. I'm like, kid, that is absolutely a first world problem, and I'll say it as such, and she'll kind of laugh. But you know, it makes a lot. It puts a lot of things in perspective. It makes a lot of our minor problems petty, you know, by comparison. And I say that if only because I've never, you know, touch wood, I've never had the experience of cancer, you know, or a critical illness, you know, that was, you know, where my life hung in the balance. But I had, it was last summer, I had some issues that I didn't know what was going on, and, you know, had a whole bunch of tests run. I was worried that something was going on with my eye. I think it was what it largely came down to. My prescription was changing, and I ended up with these weird kind of pains in my head, right? And I'm like, what's going on? I mean, I know a tension headache and I know this kind of thing, but this is new. And what is happening? And it was frightening me, you know, for my own life's sake. But I got to tell you, the one thing that I went to, I mean, it wasn't even, you know, Diana, because she'll be taken care of. She'll be fine. It was Jedi. And as much as we may be at odds with one another at any given moment, trust me, you just wait 5 minutes and we'll be at each other's throats. It's just,
Yeah, I know.
it's just
I
the way it's always
know
going to be.
that feeling, yes.
Yeah. So
yes, that definitely broke my heart when seeing it, but that's the same thought that I kind of passed through, where I'm just like, you know what? Once you have a child, either way, if you're blessed or not, and you still have puppies, just having that whole support of whoever you have around you definitely is, a great aspect to kind of look forward into life in that way, other than that, it's like you really don't have more to, to kind of fight for, in sense of, the negativity that's coming across you.
Right. And that's, I mean, I having been down this path in a different way, I can only understand, as much as what's exposed. And, they've lived their life pretty transparently, or as transparently as one could expect. But having that, what's important, I think, is not necessarily everything that happens beyond the camera. It's everything that happens in front of the camera. And I think his eyes are on the prize. I think he's
I know.
As long as he remembers that, then everything else will fall into place.
Yes. And guess what? And besides all of this, let's enlighten it up a little bit. How crazy am I? I ended up making my Siberian Husky / Malamute Instagram page. And we just hit 700 followers.
What?
And I'm like, this is a thing. Yes, this is a thing. And I was like, I didn't know. Like, you would always hear, like, people that take pictures of their dogs. And I'm like, okay, I just do it because I'm bored kind of vibe, you know?
Right.
But I've honestly just kind of messed around. He's my foster fell. He was hit by a car.
Ugh.
He pretty much tossed in the streets. He was found behind of a bar, and I was just fostering him. But I tell you not, this guy is the sweetest soul I've ever met.
Wow.
As far as a puppy. He's only 1.5 years, and he's fully recovered. And yeah, I was like, out of one day to another, after everything going on, I was like, you know what? Let me do this. Like,
Yeah.
This is a thing. Like, let me just put it public. And we've honestly hit 700. And I don't know if you're familiar. Are you familiar with, let me tell you his name. Do you know who did the original Millennium Falcon? His name?
You designed it?
Yes.
Macquarie?
No.
Or, okay.
Like the original, like.
Well.
If I'm right. Because I've even had my brother, like, see, Colin Catwell.
Oh, sure. Okay, sure.
I've even had him like my dog's pictures. Can you believe that?
That's funny.
And I was like, it cannot be. And I even told my brother, I was like, bro, is this for real? And he was like, I don't know, let me search it. And I'm like, you know what? If I'm like going back like into like having conversations with my husband, I'm like, babe. And he's like, babe, yeah, this guy's like, he's older of age, but I'm pretty sure. And I'm like, he's like, I've came across something of him. And I was like, shut up. And he was like, yeah. So he ended up pulling up, I don't know what he had. Yeah. And we all got so stoked because I was like, okay. I'm like, my dog's name is Orbit. It's orbit.d.husky if you want to check him out.
Okay. I will. Wait, hang on. Can you drop the link into, I don't know if it'll let you post links, but I'll let it through on the
I don't
YouTube
know,
chat.
but you know what? Let me tag you on his
tweet it
picture.
Out. Yeah, or tag. Yeah. Because I'll send it to Diana too. It's hilarious.
And I've become this crazy dog lady where I'm just like, am I really doing this? And then I'm like, I really am.
I never.
And I'm just like, you know what?
Yeah.
And I never even went either. I was like, I thought it was just one of those things where you kind of, I just couldn't believe it. But this guy, honestly, he is legit, dude. I was like, wow. Orbit, he has ever since Halloween, we've had our smoke machine out, and since we were in the house, I'm like, what else are we gonna do? We took out the karaoke machine. We ended up taking out the fog machine, smoked up the whole house. The kids love it. Put circus music, act like we're in the circus. I'm like, bring the party inside, smoke up our 3-car garage, and then we'll end up opening it. And then all you see is, we live in a gated community, so all you see is our neighbors like slowly stopping, wondering, hey, is your house on fire? And they're like, no, these people are just doing their thing with the music.
Wow. Well, now I gotta see. Now I gotta see.
I'm trying to add you. Let me see.
I got it. Someone tagged it on in the.
I just added you on his Chewbacca page.
There we go. Let's see if I can get it here.
This is a thing.
That's not it. There's another one. Okay.
I just tagged you on one of his pictures.
Okay. Yeah, I've got it pulled up here. There we go. All right, I'm sending the link.
This is a thing. I'm at 711 followers.
It's crazy. All right, I'm sending the link to Diana too. Diana's on Instagram way more than I am. But I'll give you context. That's hilarious.
Yes. And you know what's crazy too? I ended up going to it was Petco. I had a young girl, the sweetest girl ever, that met Orbit, and I swear you not, she was in tears meeting this guy. I'm like, the impact that these pets do, and then they see, the family in the background too, because I'm like, I didn't just adapt to you by yourself, of what you did and what you were introducing everybody to on your media. I fell in love with your family as well, and, kind of seeing,
I hope.
I'm sorry?
And on that front, I hope that as Jedi gets older, I can tell you this. As Jedi gets older, there's zero doubt in my mind she will be doing video. Like, zero doubt in my mind. My hope is that, and I try to kind of keep this alive with doing the live stuff that I might be interested in on a weekly basis, the Star Wars stuff, which I know I'm probably the only person who is interested. But just to kind of keep her, trying to keep doing something with her. And it's my hope is that as she evolves and becomes more her own person, that we can do these types of things together, this type of thing where we're talking to each other and we're talking to the community and we're doing things together. So, I wish that we were still doing things like that on a more regular basis, but it just didn't work out that way.
It didn't. It's like we envision us doing something before our kids, it's like, even while the pregnancy, we're just really like, okay, this is what's going to happen. We're going to either breastfeed, we're going to bottle feed. I remember you used to buy those big packages of formula, little 2 ounces, where I'm like, dude, you could have like really bought it like the bigger one and invested cheaper. But I'm like, probably Similac was giving him a discount. Who knows? I was like, I give it to him. But then I ended up searching it up, and I wasn't pregnant at the time. Like, heck no, I can't do that. Came to find out, once I delivered my daughter, she was born with a tooth.
Ooh.
And at first it looked like a blister. It still didn't erupt the gum. So I went into the pediatrician about 2 days after delivery, and she just pushed down and she's like, Miss, your daughter has a tooth. We have to wait until it shows for us to see if it's an actual strong tooth or it needs to be removed. And I was like, only my daughter would have something crazy like that, right? And just like Jedi, Jedi was born with like a little bit of hair, if I recall, right?
Yes, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I remember. I was like, Diana kept on putting those little hair bow ties, and I was like, girlfriend, I don't blame you. I was like, my daughter, she had a head full of hair. She's my living Chewbacca, where her eyebrows is connected to her forehead, and I'm just like, child, where, why, and how,
Well,
and then here comes my son.
Sorry, keep going.
And he's like, okay, my son had no hair. Months went by. He started crawling. He was a year old. Barely hair was growing. About 6 months ago, this guy had a head full of curly hair, kind of like yours, if you were to let your hair grow out.
Right.
Yeah, and honestly, I was like, Jedi has curly hair. I'm like, is this what happens when you have curly hair? I'm like, you end up having like no hair, and then out of nowhere, bam, like this luscious of hair,
all I can tell you is that Diana's jealous of Jedi's hair, and Jedi can't stand. Jedi wants her hair to look a certain way, but she can't stand going through the actual process. She screams.
I gave up. I'm like, my mom, honestly, is the most patient lady out there that brushes my daughter's hair, because I swear you not, I give up on like the first stroke because it sounds like I'm murdering her. And I'm sure you guys have gone through that where you're just like, I give up. You're lucky you even had that bow on you,
That honestly, that's where Diana has infinite more patience than I do. Because I'd be like, okay, fine. I'm like, just if that's what she wants, just walk, bounce, that's it. And Diana's like, no. I'm like, no, dude, I'm ready to go.
So and then I turn around myself and I'm like, why do I have this big old knot? I'm like, mother like daughter, there you go.
Yeah, I know
like,
that.
Not even hiding it.
It's Jedi's got, I think she's got my attitude. And maybe Diana had this attitude as a kid. It would be shocked, but Jedi's got my attitude, and that's why it's like, what is it? Immovable force meets an unstoppable object, and that's typically what it is. It's a battle of wits, and even at 5,
she's amazing.
I mean, oh my god, my god,
she's amazing. I've really enjoyed seeing her growth. How she's kind of evolved, because I remember when you guys were, and y'all announced, her name and where it came from. And at first, I'm pretty sure you got like, why did you name her Jedi? Like, really, dude? I know that, like your friends, like, are you sure? It's like, dude, do you want to think about it? Like, come on now, like, give her, that standard, like, name, like, who knows, whatever. But you're just like, dude, you couldn't get away from your Star Wars. But at the end of the day, like, the background that comes from it is like, okay, like me, my son's name is Leonardo. Ask my husband why, Leonardo DiCaprio. And I'm like, really, dude? I hated it. Even to this point, I'm just like, I have a Ninja Turtle baby,
Ninja Turtle, yeah.
I'm like, I know, yeah, like everybody. I was like, no, but he wants his Great Gatsby son, and I'm just like, I just see Jack dying thanks to Rose, I'm like, these fools could have been sitting together, I'm like, no, and I'm just like, okay, I think now I have that, and
Diana would have flipped for Leonardo. I think she would have said yeah, but I mean, of course, I don't know if it would have worked for her, but yeah, no, it's a true story. That's how it came. That's how it came about.
Yeah. Any more babies?
No,
I know not right now.
Done. I told Diana.
I don't blame you.
I said, I am willing to get snipped. I'm okay. I'm like, there's nothing wrong with that. It's easy. I don't have to worry. We don't have to.
I'll give in.
I'm done. Like,
you know what? I hope my husband is listening to you right now, because I locked myself in my closet. I told him bye, dude. I'm like, listen to me. I'm on air. This is my fame time.
I haven't done it yet. I'm just saying.
But at least you said it, and I hope, and I'm sure this whole conversation is going to be recorded, so I could go back and be like, dude, right here at this time, if Chris said it, I'm like, the recovery time, if I've heard, and I researched, is only about a week of time, and they give you about 2 weeks, 24 days for you to calm it down, and I'm like, I can wait, I'll be patient. I'm
worried, but like at the same time, it's like I'm weighing my options, right? I'm like, okay,
whatever, dude. You're like, I'm worried. I'm like, no. I want to hear it though. Come on, let me hear it.
I told her, I said, yeah, I'd be willing to do it. So it's on the table. Like not literally.
Ooh, I know Diana is like hardcore smiling right now. She's like, he's gonna do it.
No, she knows. I mean,
he's gonna do it.
No, we've had.
I know. Oh, I could just imagine.
Like,
right.
You just say when. Like, what is the plan here? Because I'm not exactly gonna go in and say, hey, surprise on the weekend. I did it. I'm like, this is a decision that we've got to make together.
Well, did you end up seeing Red and Link did it, and they did a video on it?
Really, I missed that.
Oh, it was the most hilarious thing ever. They're like, oh, it's happening. And I'm like, oh my God, I was in tears when I saw that video. Oh my God, yeah, they both did it right next to each other. And they're like, whatever, we did it. The best of friends just doing, yeah, they both got
But
missed
that's
at
the
the same
thing.
time. I was like, okay.
It's routine. It's I don't feel like I'm losing anything like necessarily apart from not having the stress and strain of do we want to have another child? And to me,
Right.
I've always been, and I don't know how Diana necessarily was, but the conversations we've had, I think, we're fine with, one and I mean, everything that comes with it, because then Diana starts feeling guilty. This is where I wish she was here because I'm talking for her, but Jedi pulled her the other direction. Right. So,
Right.
she she's afraid of splitting attention and she doesn't want to split attention because then she'd feel bad. I'm like, but hon, I mean, it's normal. It's like, it just depends on what you want.
No.
And that's kind of what it comes
Exactly.
down to. So,
Hmm.
but I have no
Yeah,
problem with it.
no, after so long, me and my husband, it took us 7 years to conceive my daughter. After that, whenever I found out I was pregnant, like our first words to each other was, we work, because we
Yeah,
never, went into seeing like, hey, are we able to have kids? I'm like, we kind of let all the cards go into its own place and do its own thing. And honestly, I took, and I'm pretty sure Diana did too, took like 1,000 tests. And, we needed that stupid proof one that says you're pregnant,
No,
because we
no,
couldn't really,
it was quick.
no,
No, honestly, like we weren't not trying. Like we just kind of like, okay, well, if it happens, it happens, and we didn't,
right.
before we knew it, like that was it. Like she was very like whatever it was, the combination, it was fertile ground. So
Hmm.
yeah, it wasn't. I'm grateful that we didn't have to go through a prolonged process for it. But on the other end of it, it's just kind of a question like, do we want to have another kid? And I know there are benefits and there are drawbacks, and there's no right answer for any of this. There's just absolutely
Right.
no right answer at all. And part of me thinks like, well, maybe Jedi could be a little humbled should she have a little brother or sister running around. But on the other hand, would
I
that make
doubt
it
it.
even worse with her? Like, I mean, I don't have the answers to these questions, right? So,
Right.
my preference would be we stop at one. I think it's Diana's preference as well. I just don't
Oh,
know
right.
where it is from there, but I'm not like driven
Mm,
to make it a final answer one way or another.
Right. I don't know if your mom ever told you, wait until you have your own kids, then you come and tell me.
Yeah, that's about right.
Okay. I think every parent does, and everybody could say the same. My mom always told me, wait until you have your kids and whatever, I would prank my mom. Oh, guess what? I'm pregnant. And she's like, whatever. I'm like, oh, I'm kidding. And then I'll prank her again, and I'll be like, what, Mom, I'm pregnant. And she's like, for real? And she'll get so excited. And I'm like, yeah, no. And then finally, the day I got pregnant, she like didn't believe me. She was just like lounging back, and she was like minding her business. And she's like, no, you didn't. And I was like in tears, like literally, I was finally crying, And yeah, and she's like, okay, well, wait until you have your kids and tell me how it goes,
Yeah.
I had my daughter, fantastic, just like a Jedi. You would think you're like, cool, I could battle this one, it's just one-on-one, No, my son at 11 months opened our front door, walked out, had a neighbor bring my son in.
Oh.
Isn't he yours? Yeah. And we're like,
Whoa.
dude, what just happened?
Whoa.
Not even kidding you. 3 weeks ago, I was cooking macaroni. After the first time, we learned our lesson. We're like, okay, we're gating the whole house. Okay, this guy cannot open these gates. Okay? No, he mastered that. He totally mastered opening the gate, opening the door again, took out the dogs. Orbit was living it. It was feeling fantastic outside. Wow. It was cold, 60-plus weather. And Leonardo was just playing in the plants, and here comes this guy ringing the doorbell, knocking in. He's like, are these guys yours?
Oh, man.
I didn't know what to say. I'm like,
wow.
I swear, I'm not a bad parent,
Wow.
But what the heck, man? Number two? Oh, yeah. My gray hairs are out. Luckily, we could do hair dye and hide it out. But dude is right.
I had, I'm grateful that Jedi doesn't listen in general. And she's a 5-year-old. Of course she doesn't listen. But
selective hearing.
Yeah, exactly. Diana, they're very rarely to the point where it's happened now, they're virtually inseparable. And so I'm grateful that Jedi she's not as, she's independent, but she also tethers to Diana pretty well, such that that's not as much of a concern. There's a concern though that I have where she feels so comfortable in her own safety that she might do something dangerous because she's got a mind of her own. I get it to the nth degree.
Yeah.
To the nth degree.
And that's how I thought it was going to be with my daughter. You know, I was like, I could go to the grocery store. We would go get Starbucks and I'll get her cake pop and she'll be chilling. You know, she'll lay back and be like, okay, mom's grocery shopping. We're going to be here for an hour plus, whatever. I swear you not, my son, within 20 minutes, you're lucky. We're out that store. I'm like, this is done. You know, I'm like, us even trying to grocery shop with this guy, your life literally goes on a pause. Whenever they say you have a boy, you have a boy. Like, I'm like, I don't want no more. Like, this guy, I became a pescatarian during my pregnancy, and I know you kind of blocked it out within the years of not even eating any meat or anything like that. I know you used to do what, BLTs?
Yeah. A while ago.
At the time, yeah, and that was a thing, and you actually would vlog, you know, Diana and yourself doing it, you baking your bacon or whatever, and I couldn't do that. I pretty much have like an allergic reaction where my lip swells, tongue swells. I've never been fully diagnosed. I just don't want to know if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, it totally makes sense.
Just the fear. I just avoid it because I know if I do it, then that reaction comes. And like you said, somebody told you earlier, they're like, oh, you're missing out on all this Mexican food. And it's like, you kind of get used to eating the foods where you're just like, I'm really not, you know? I'm like, I'm Hispanic and I missed out. Like my Thanksgiving, my Christmas, my birthday. My birthday was on the 23rd. So what did I eat? I'm like, at this point, it's like, am I eating the same food? But the bread, the carbs hit you, you know, you're just like, oh, I'm hungry. What am I going to eat? I'm eating me a sandwich, you know, or like a cheese sandwich or like a tomato avocado sandwich. Who knows, right?
Well, around here,
but you really don't miss out.
Yeah, you know, it's
exactly.
You got to fight for food around here.
Yeah. You're lucky. Yeah, that's what, dude, I know. And you're just like, I only had like one piece of that, whatever, you know? I'm like, no, I understand that feeling. But, you know, as a pescatarian, being Hispanic, you definitely get that clash of like, what are you? I didn't even know what a pescatarian was until I became one, you know? Yeah. I was like,
I would never, I mean, I'm probably vegan for life at this point. I don't think that it's I mean, and thankfully, it's not because of any allergy or food allergy or any kind of reaction that I've had. But yeah, I mean, it's.
But I always say it's a blessing, you know, in disguise of why you're doing it. And my body, you know, stopped me from, you know, it's so easy for us to, you know, hey, we have money in our card. Let's go to a drive-through.
Right.
You know, hey, you know, let me call whoever and place an order for pickup. You know, and were we making the right choices? Probably not, you know. But have you tried? I know you probably haven't. I don't know. I haven't even fully looked at all the ingredients.
What?
You know what I'm talking about, right?
No, what?
The Impossible Whopper from Burger King?
Yes, hell yeah. It's, I gotta tell you.
What are your thoughts? What is it?
So.
I'm like, what is it? And I already ate it like 5 times.
So, I have not eaten meat in like, you know, three or so years. So, I've pretty much lost the taste of it. So, it's difficult for me to do a side-by-side. That said,
I'm going on 3 years. Wow. I know.
So, like, I like it. Like, I mean, it's
like if we think about it, right? We're like, oh, I think this is what it kind of tasted like.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like so much vodka could get us into that. Yeah.
So there's not. I mean, like Diana would go there in recent weeks because they'd have a special where you can get like an Impossible Offer for like $4. I'm like, okay, that's pretty good deal for what you get. And so, I could eat it and not think that I wasn't eating like a quote unquote regular burger. But in terms of comparisons, I've had better Impossible or Beyond Meat burgers. Like Fat Burger is like, in my humble opinion, like the absolute like best quote unquote fast food
Best.
Impossible Burger, Beyond Burger that's out there. But in a pinch, yeah, I like the Impossible Whopper because, you know, kind of as you kind of were saying, you know, if you haven't had it in a while, this is kind of what meat tastes like.
I swear you not, I was crying. And my husband brought me a fish sandwich whenever it came out. And he was like, you know, let me get you a fish sandwich and this Impossible Whopper, whatever, you know, just in case if you don't like it, you at least have something to eat. And I already had eaten my fish sandwich because I totally forgot I even had that. Like, that's not even a choice of me saying, oh, I want a burger, you know?
Wow.
I cried. I legit cried. I was in tears, and my husband's like, did they put like extra onions in this? Like, what is it? I was like, is this what a burger tastes like? Like, you kind of forget, but you kind of remember. Like, the senses kind of come in, but it's like, do I want it? Am I like, you know, do I have that urge of, you know, that itch of like, oh man, I need it? You don't, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going in 3 years. Well, my third year of being a pescatarian is in July. So yeah,
that's
about. I'm like, my family. Yeah.
No, I'm saying that's about where I was for vegan about 3 years ago in July. Just about.
Oh man.
No, but
that's crazy. Yeah.
No, you're right. It's your everything kind of reconfigures itself. But as I explained to my brother, Ben, he'd never had an Impossible Burger before, but he was asking about it. I'm like, well, let's go to Fat Burger because I know it's a good one. He had one bite and he says, yeah, this doesn't taste like beef. And I'm like, or it doesn't taste like a burger. But as he got into more of it, it tasted more and more like a burger. I'm like, because I was explaining to him, it's because you're not just eating the patty, you're eating the ketchup and the you know, the lettuce and everything the mustard and the pickles and everything.
It camels it perfectly.
Exactly. So at that point, if you're gonna bury the meat, you know, I mean, and this is just not necessarily a choice, but like, I can understand why you would still want to eat meat if it tastes different, but at the point where it doesn't taste different, yeah, that's where I am. I'm like, okay, to me, you could probably give me a real burger, I'd be very upset about it. You know, if I found out after eating it, but you could give me an Impossible and I'd think nothing of it. I'm like, yes, it tastes like meat to me anymore. It just tastes like meat.
Right.
So you just get used to it.
Yeah, but isn't it so funny how you have to like constantly like reassure people like I'm okay in being the way I am,
right? Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
Like we've accepted it, like well, you know, it honestly is one of those things. Yeah,
you know, it's like well, any kind of choice. Like, are you sure you like Android more than the iPhone? Is that really? Are you sure? I'm like, yes, I'm confident. I'm okay.
Right.
Yep. Same thing.
I know. Like we wake up every morning accepting it.
I know. Well, you don't even think about it. At some point, it's just like
I know you don't.
Given, you know. I mean,
You're like, thanks, dude, for reminding me.
Right. You know, I'm very grateful. I got to tell you. I mean, even you know, especially now with what's happening and even getting out to stores, like we're spending far less money than we ever did, for sure. But I don't necessarily worry about running out of the things that a lot of other people worry about running out of. Because we don't get it. We don't get that stuff anymore. And so we're eating, you know, vicariously, we eat more healthy than we ever did, which doesn't mean that we're always eating healthy. I mean, we got ice cream and, you know, root beer and, you know, all that fun stuff. But it's within, you know, a set of guidelines that generally keeps us probably a bit more healthy than the average family just for making those choices.
Right.
Well, I don't know. I don't even know what healthy is anymore, honestly. I don't know. I don't know what it is anymore.
I'm like, the option is, who knows? And it's so funny. I ended up seeing the comments right now. Joey Perez is my brother. And I called him right after I cried. I was like, bro, I just ate. And he was like, I know what you ate. And he was like, yeah, he was like, how was it? I'm like, it was badass. So yeah, he definitely could testify for me that you don't realize it, you know, it's like you kind of live in this, you make your own bubble, you know what I mean?
Yep, that's true. It's for anything.
Yeah, so I know, yeah, but it was awesome talking to you. You have no idea. My husband even was like, oh, I was on his phone while being on my phone, got my headsets, and I was like, dude, I'm like, I went to work today. No, I went to work today and I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna get the damn corona. You have no idea. Like, I even like fist pumped somebody and I was like, oh my God. Like, I literally became Strong Hand from the Scary Movie. Do you remember that? Strong Hand from Scary Movie?
Barely.
Dude, that weird guy that had that little hand from the Scary Movie.
Now I gotta go
that
watch
comedy,
it
whatever.
Yeah, no, I remember it.
Dude,
I love those types of films.
that's how I felt. Like my hand shrunk and shriveled, dude.
Oh man.
And I was like,
well,
oh my God. I'm like,
So here's what I'll tell you. I'm gonna one of these nights I'm gonna see if I can get Diana, entertain Jedi enough to say, hey, we're gonna do this audio show, and that way Diana can be here, to talk and stuff. Because I guarantee, like, Jedi will drag her away every time. Like she's a 5-year-old, right? So if we can figure out,
I would love to hear her conversations with my daughter. No, I would love to hear Jedi and my daughter's conversation.
Well, there you go.
Because honestly, that would be amazing interaction. And I've seen that you posted numerous amount of videos with her in there, and she puts her little, spunk to it where you're just like, dude, like, this is Jedi show. Like, let me just step back. And I'm just the background, just like my screensaver, Be like, whatever, dude.
That's what you got to do. That is it. It's absolutely inevitable. So at some point, I may be able to keep Diana in the room, or move this to a place where she'll be able to more actively participate, because then everyone's gonna have fun.
You know what, Chris? We're just gonna have you step out for a second and then bring Diana and we'll switch, switch roles, dude.
Honestly,
I'm like, let her.
It would be possible, but like I said, Jedi is like, they're attached. Like, I could not extricate Jedi. Like, it would never happen. Diana has to tell Jedi where she's moving in the house. I'm going upstairs. I'm going downstairs. I'm going into this room. Otherwise, it's just chaos. Just pandemonium.
It got to the point where my brother tells my daughter, "Where did they go? They went to Africa."
You're right. No, I say that too.
And my daughter goes, "Well, you end up asking your kids questions. Where does money come from?" She swears you not. It comes from her grandpa's house. I guess she saw him like drop some money, and ever since then, that's where money comes from. And where does she live? Yeah, and where does she live and where does she came from? She says she's from Africa. I'm like, we're from Texas, dude. I'm like, what are you talking about? But I'm like, it got to that point where it's just like, okay, we're from Africa. Money comes from your grandpa's house. Hey, you better call him because we're running low.
The innocence of a child.
I know, isn't that? But then we kind of give in. We're just like, hey, we want this too.
The innocence of a child.
I know. This was amazing. I know.
I will. I'm going to make a concerted effort because I think she'll enjoy it.
I will love to. And either way, now you have Orbit's page. Now you can be a crazy dude following a dog's page, if so.
This is the kind of stuff that for sure.
I know, right? This is crazy. I didn't even think about it. You know what? I would love to post Wicked on there too. In her prime time, and go from there.
I've been trying to get more pictures. I just don't do Instagram. I've tried. I mean, I use it for certain things, but I don't use it the same way as like everybody else does.
I don't blame
I suck
you.
at it.
I didn't even know. I don't do media anymore. You're lucky. I don't even watch television. I'll watch you guys and whoever's on here.
Funny.
I'm like, my mom, she's always, what are you watching on your phone? I'm like, my novela.
Right.
I'm like, we don't have no TV shows like you. I'm like, I'm watching my novela on my phone.
Yes,
You're like,
Diana.
who? And
Yes,
I'm like,
Diana. Every other day, hey, such and such did so, and I'm alert. I already tune out. I'm like, I what? Like, what? I gotta deal with my own life. Why do I can't watch somebody else's all the time? It's funny.
Whatever. But then you see yourself watching it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's my problem.
I know.
I'll get pulled in. I'll get hooked.
I know. Yeah, I know. I understand that feeling where you're just like, you end up kind of going on auto-tune pilot mode and just like watching, who knows, whenever they say you got into that crazy part of YouTube, you went into that crazy part of YouTube.
She finds them. Yeah. She finds all the corners. She finds every crazy corner of YouTube. Every one of them.
I don't blame her. I'm like, and we still kind of keep it sane,
Pretty much.
But then, yeah. I give it to her. I'm like, Diana, once again, shout out, girlfriend, if you're hearing me. If you're not, you probably could go back and be like, hey, I'm kidding. But once again, Chris, it was a pleasure talking to you. I'm sure my husband and everybody else is in the background listening to me, kind of nagging. I'm like, I have to shout out somebody, I'm like, shout out to my family that's stuck in this house going crazy. My mom done fell off of the treadmill, busted her leg. Yeah, I kind of was laughing. That was you. She was like, I was gonna, you weren't gonna hear the end of it after me breaking my knee. But it was nice. I'm like, hopefully the next person that you talk to, if you still have time,
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm probably gonna be wrapping up soon, if only so I can check in with Diana, making sure she's good.
Right. It's already going to be 10 here where I'm at. So you have a nice night.
You too.
Goodbye, everybody.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Really
and I look forward to seeing that chat and calling back if so.
Oh, for sure. I'm going to continue to do it.
All right.
Now Diana will too, I'm sure.
All righty, Chris.
Thanks again.
Yes.
Right.
May the force be with you.
Yes, you as well.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah, no, I have every intention on continuing to do this. Although I really do want to figure out if we can get Jedi to play in here, although that would probably change the noise level somewhat. She would not sit, I guarantee she would not sit still for 2 hours. Like, just it would not, in any room, she would not sit still. Otherwise, you're going to hear like Muppet Babies in the background or some other show that she's decided to tune into on YouTube and what have you. But it is about 8:00 here, so I'm probably gonna be wrapping it up. But I will be back tomorrow at the same bat time, about 5:30 ish. So if we couldn't connect tonight, then we can connect tomorrow. That phone number, by the way, the 510-662-6932, you can text and then it'll send you notifications and updates for when I do these types of broadcasts. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do 2 hours every single night. But for the time being, I'm going to try to get through this week, 5:30 p.m. Pacific. Tomorrow I'm going to see if I can get Diana in here for at least an hour. It'll be Diana time, hopefully. Knock on wood. We'll see. Because you never know. You just gotta roll with the punches when you've got a family that's self-isolating. So until then, thank you for calling. I appreciate the varied conversations that we've had. I always like having conversations that stretch far beyond one single topic. It makes for an interesting time. I never know what I'm going to be talking about next, and it's what I do. I talk, have conversations, learn about people's lives. It's kind of what I like to do. I think it's what we all do in social media anymore. You thought I was only interested in Star Wars. Ha! Well, actually I am. But, I also talk about other things, like vasectomies. Apparently. Now I've got that on the YouTube now. That's just great, Chris. That's just great. So, oh man. Oh, a little bit of congestion there. Thanks again for tuning in. I love you. I appreciate you. I will see you tomorrow night at 5:30 p.m. Pacific. I will schedule that broadcast so that you can set the notification for it as well on this page. Until then, I'm going to leave you to your own devices, and may the force be with you always.